One particular form of fear is what we call guilt. Guilt is always associated the feeling of wrongness and potential punishment, either real or in fantasy. If punishment is not forthcoming to the external world, it expresses a self punishment on the emotional level. Guilt accompanies all the negative emotions, and thus, where there is a fear, there is a guilt. If you think guilty thought and have somebody test your muscle strength, you will see that muscle instantly goes weak. Your hemisphere has become desynchronized, and all your energy meridians are thrown out of balance. Nature therefore says that guilt is destructive. If guilt is so destructive, then why there are such peanut of praise allotted to it? Why do so-called experts view guilt as beneficial? For example, a psychiatrist wrote a magazine article in the praise of guilt, declaring guilt is good for you. He then qualified the statement with appropriate guilt. Let's look at what guilt is really all about and see if we agree or not. When we choose to cross the street, you look both ways to see if the car is coming. How does this come about? When you were a child, you were told it was bad to cross the street. Then we see the guilt is really a substitute for a sense of reality in a mind that is undeveloped, such as that of a child. It is a learned behavior which is purposefully pragmatic to prevent further error or the repetition of mistakes. 99% of guilt has nothing whatsoever to do with reality. In fact, the most meek and harmless individuals are often riddled with guilt. Guilt is really self condemnation and self invalidation of our worth and value as human beings. Guilt is as prevalent as fear, and we feel guilty no matter what we are doing. A matter of our mind says that we really ought to be doing something else, or whatever we are actually doing at the moment. We ought to be doing better. We should be doing a better golf course. We should be reading a book instead of watching television. We should make a love better, cook better, run faster, grow taller, be stronger, be smarter, be more educated. In between the fear of living and the fear of dying is the guilt of the moment. We seek to escape it by remaining unaware of it through suppression, repression, projecting it onto others, and escape. Remaining unconscious of guilt, however, does not solve it. The guilt re-emerges in the form of self-punishment and through accident, misfortune, loss of job and relationship, physical disease and sickness, tiredness, exhaustion, and multiple ways. The ingenious mind figure out how to bring about loss of pleasure, joy, and aliveness. Guilt represent death as represent life. Guilt part of a smaller self and underlies our willingness to believe a negative thought about ourselves. The happiness and joy of the day is instantly destroyed to by our negative remark from a family member, friends, or neighbor. Physical disease is unlikely to exist within our guilt, and guilt is a denial or our inner instinct emotions. So why do we buy into such garbage? It is not because of our very innocence. It is not because as we grew up we trusted that what others are telling us was the truth. And eventually, currently, we do still trust what others are telling us is the truth. Is it not so that we have thought to 10,000 lies and are willing to buy another 10,000 out of our own inner innocence? Is that inner innocence the very reason for our exploitability? In fact, when we look deep within ourselves, it is not because of our very innocence that we believe ourselves to be guilty. It is because our inner innocence that we have bought into our all negativity of the world and allowed to kill our aliveness, destroy our awareness and who we really are, and sell us pathetic little smallness for which we have settled. Is it not ours the innocence of newborn that cannot be defend itself and with no capacity of discernment could only be allowed to it to be programmed like a computer? To see this means to become conscious. We hear from the Conscious Raising Awareness program and weekend seminars to expand our consciousness. What does that mean? To get some new complicated formula to get programmed with somebody else's idea of mystic truth. Most of our consciousness program boiled down to this essential point. Became aware of what we are buying into and what we are accepting daily. Let's look at what we have already programmed with, begin to question it, assemble it, and let it go. Let's wake up and free ourselves from being exploited, enslaved by the negative programming of the world. We will see to it what it is, which is attempt by others to control us, exploit us, extract our money, our services, our energy, and loyalty, and capture our mind. The mechanism where this comes about were so beautifully exemplified in the movie Dawn, in which the very function of the master control was to enslave by progressive programming. When we see the truth of how programming happens, we will see that we are pure blank computer. We are innocent space in which programming is occur. When we look at all this, we are going to get angry. Angry is better than resignation, empathy, depression, grief. It means to take charge of our mind instead of handing it to the television set, newspaper, magazine, the neighbor, the conversation in the subway, the chance remarks of the waitress, the garbage in and garbage out. What went into our memory bank was garbage, and when we see this, we will have much lesser fear. We will enjoy starting to let the feeling come up and see them what they are, clear out the garbage and let it all go. Thanks for watching.